associated with iSPELL. My deepest gratitude to the forum for which it has reached to this level during this pandemic. And being a coordinator of Karnataka from iSPELL National Forum, I take immense pleasure. But during this situation where many are being suffering from this, affected by fever, flu, and other things, we are here once again for the literary feast. It is a mission to ensure and explore oneself, to learn more and to elevate and facilitate ourselves. Today's satsang is the 71st one, where we have to be very proud and happy that we are moving ahead, never turning back towards what has already happened. Every deliberation, as far as I know, has been created a new horizon, and it has created a new platform for people to identify oneself, and also it is to move ahead with literary aspects to know and get to know more and more. Though we are professors, though we are teachers, though we are learners, but yet we could see life is the biggest teacher. And the situation we are facing, these things, the virus, coronavirus, amidst all these things, we feel very happy to say that iSPELL rose amidst that situation on September 5th, 2020, to give a new arena to the literary lovers. It's a team of erudite scholars who are the pillars of this forum, giving their heart and soul to serve the English literary lovers. It's a platform to execute, display our intellectual skills, independent thinking skills, and imbibe a sense of confidence in teachers, research scholars, school teachers, as well as students. Every deliberation on this Sunday Sahitya Satsang has opened a new arena to search and to research, to think and to rethink. It is all the promise. iSPELL is a real promise to each one, competing a platform to the learners, where promising that particular state term, where igniting the heart and soul of every mind. The heart and soul of the literary lovers is never the one which says that there is an end. It is always a beginning to each and everything. Ensuring to explore oneself and to work tandem to benefit, and the disciplines of raising high, committed team members over here in this forum are there, enlightening oneself and even enlightening the audience, awakening insightful thoughts, connecting oneself with this virtual world. And it's only giving, rendering without no returns. And the one which we are giving is to elevate oneself and to explore oneself. With these words, let me just go ahead with today's introduction of the Master of Ceremony, Dr. Pragnasa Upadhyay. It was wonderful. My first call to her was that, yes, ma'am, she was busy. It was late night when I called her. She said, yes, ma'am, I'm busy now. But yet she gave her consent, telling that, ma'am, I'm always ready for iSPELL. And ma'am, this is what actually linked me up to you. And today we are here on this platform. Dr. Pragyasa H. Upadhyay is working as the head of the Department of English at late Rajendra Singh, alias Baba Vyas Arts and Commerce College, Kondali, since 2016. Keeping herself updated with the latest technology in teaching, learning methodology, she is constantly upgrading herself towards the new teaching skills and learning skills towards students. She has contributed chapters to books and published 8 research papers in national and international journals. She has been organizing different student development activities to empower the rural students, especially girl students. This actually attracted me, ma'am. And yes, we should always work for those people who actually need it. And girls are those group of people where we have to encourage them and inspire them, motivate them to go ahead, because life is a great challenge. She is an ambitious writer and is often nicknamed by her colleagues as Jignasa for her love towards learning. With these words, I welcome Dr. Pragnasa ma'am to get along with this. And with these words, ma'am, the session is open to you now. You can just introduce Kamaljit ma'am now, the keynote speaker, and probably she'll join us within a few minutes.
Thank you for a wonderful introduction, ma'am. Thank you so much. And when I had a talk with you, it was a really, I did not expect it that we'll go so far, but still, I hope a long way to go. Good evening, one and all. It's my proud privilege to be participating in the 71st Sunday Sahit Satsang as a member of ceremony, and heartily organizers for this wonderful opportunity. I, Dr. Pragyasa Harshendu Upadhyay from Commerce College, Kundali, District Nagpur, Maharashtra, extend to you a very warm welcome on behalf of the iSPELL Forum on the 71st Sunday Sahit Satsang, a weekly activity organized by the iSPELL India. Today's session on literature and ability for righteous act. Friends, since I have read this topic, which is today's topic, courage, and see, courage has regularly been a subject of literature from Ramayana, I would say, from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Panchatantra to Harry Potter series, we can say, and almost all literature for children and adults. Since ages, literature in all its forms, epics, literature in all its forms, epics, fiction, non-fiction, poetry or short story or drama, has been instilling the generations of humans with courage. Literature has framed many characters and will continue to do so. And today we have amongst us Mrs. Kamaljit Yadav ma'am to speak on courage imparted through literature and ability to for righteous act. Friends, as ma'am has not been connected till now, but still I'll be introducing her and hope she'll join soon. I'm glad to welcome keynote speaker of today's session, Kamaljit Yadav ma'am. But before that, I would like to welcome our iSPELL Forum members and our guest. I take the privilege to welcome the chairperson of today's session, Dr. Kirti Tiwari ma'am. She is Professor of Government J.Y. Chhattisgarh College, Raipur. I am glad to welcome the keynote speaker of today's session, Kamaljit Yadav ma'am. She is the principal of Supot Public School, Rambagh, Rajasthan. I deem it a pleasure to welcome the event coordinator of today's Sunday Sahitya Satsang, Dr. Captain Indrani ma'am. She is convener iSPELL South Karnataka Forum. Dr. Indrani is an assistant professor of English at SBRR First Grade College, Mysuru, Karnataka. I deem it a pleasure to welcome all the National Executive Committee members of iSPELL India. The founder and organizing secretary, Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam sir, Professor of English, Directorate of Higher Education, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. President, Professor Anupma Vohra ma'am from Department of English, DDE University of Jammu. Vice President, Administration, Dr. Prasanta Chakraborty sir, Faculty, Rajashri College of Education and Skill, Agartala, Tripura. Vice President, Dr. Ashoka Sachdeva sir, Academics, Professor of English, Mata Jijabai Government Girls PG College, Indore, MP. Joint Secretary, Academics, Dr. Murli Krishnan, TR, Associate Professor and Head, MES, Asmabi College, Kodungalur, Kerala. Joint Secretary, Professor of English and Director, School of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, Reva University, Bengaluru, Karnataka. Treasurer, Rakesh Digraskar Sir, Lecturer in English, School Education, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. Coordinator, Dr. Shamta Chaudhary Ma'am, HOD of English, SHSS, Vardhaman Mahavi Open University, Kota, Rajasthan. IT Coordinator, Pramod English Sir, Assistant Professor of English, Dr. T.K. Tope College, Mumbai. Executive Committee members, iSPELL, Ranjan Devanath Sir, Vice Principal, Henry Derozio Academy, Agartala, Tripura. Dr. Rakesh Damir, Professor of English, NC Bodiwala College, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Dr. Lieutenant Indrani, Dr. Captain Indrani, MR, Assistant Professor of English, SBRR Maharaja First Grade College, Mysuru, Karnataka, and Dr. Shalini Yadav Ma'am, Professor of English, Kumbhakam Institute of Technology and Management, Jaipur, Rajasthan. I welcome the conveners and members of iSPELL Forum of Chhattisgarh, Tripura, South Karnataka, Rajasthan, West Bengal, and East Maharashtra, and all the professors, teachers, research scholars, students, and language lovers who joined the program on Zoom and YouTube. I welcome you all. Let me introduce, it's my great pleasure for me to introduce our keynote speaker today, who is going to present her valuable views and knowledge on courage imparted through literature and ability for righteous act. This is a subject in which one should be deeply interested, I think so, because it's by avoiding ethical mistakes that we can best ensure a societal future. A courageous society with an ethical strength has the power to lead the world. Let me introduce Kamaljeet Yadav ma'am. She is the principal of Sobodh Public School, Rambagh Circle, Jaipur. Ma'am has taught at Colonel's Academy, Gurgaon, Haryana, and Public Girls College, Rewari, Haryana. She is the founder principal of Sobodh Public School, New Jaipur Airport, Rajasthan. And she focuses on helping a learner to understand and utilize his potential to prepare himself as a global citizen. She is the joint secretary of the Jaipur Sahodaya Schools Complex, Jaipur. She has taught subject English to undergraduate students and also to 12th standard students. She is the head of department of the school. She has been counseling and telecounseling to different set of students for the different problems and working towards grooming and personality development of staff and students as well. She has visited to various institutes, colleges, nationally, and with a particular focus, visited to Culverhay School, Bath, UK in year 2003 under Professional Curriculum Development and Teacher Exchange Program supported and funded by British Council, UK. Ma'am has represented as a member of International Study Tour for Indian Schools Principal to Australia from June 3rd to 7th in 2030, conducted by Australian Council for Education, Research and Excellence. Visited the SSA Catholic College, Gold Coast, Hillbrook Anglican School, Brisbane, and the Gap State High School, Queensland of Australia, with an aim. The focus was here on to study, understand, and compare the international curriculum in different schools across the globe. She has attended 4-day programs on leading and managing schools in 2016 at University of Reading, London, UK. Attended 8 days program on principal leadership organizing by Quality Education Asia in 2017 at University of Wales, London, UK. And also attended 2 days program on an introduction to core skills for leadership organized by a British Council. She has also represented as delegate school education at China National Convention Center, Beijing, China, conducted by SEPC with the support of Government of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India on International Trade and Services in 2018. Kamaljit Yadav ma'am has presented and published her work in conferences, and she has been awarded for her incredible contribution to the field of education and organizing several activities in favor of school for students. We are privileged to have such a scholarly and erudite personality. Sorry, I have a message over here that she is not able to connect with us. She had a health issue, so she has not joined yet. But I hope she will join very soon. Indrani ma'am.
Yes. Let's continue with it. As the topic says, that it is courage imparted through literature and ability for righteous act. So this is the topic for today's discussion. And we know on this platform, the scholars are here and the professors are here. And why not? We'll have a small change, and this till ma'am joins, we can have express our views on this. As we are literary teachers, professors, we can just speak about these things. How courage is imparted through literature, and literature is not only a part just to speak about it, but it is a study of life, and it focuses on all those arenas of life where it is not only courage, it is irony, sarcasm, inspiration, right? The beauty which has been appreciated, the imaginary world, the fantasy, all these things are which is part of it, which we actually deliberate to the like students. So why not? We'll have a platform here today to discuss about. I request all the professors and the active members over here to present your views on the topic courage imparted through literature and ability for Riches Act. It is open for everybody over here. I request all of you, whoever is willing to speak on this particular topic, to kindly unmute and speak on this particular topic, courage imparted through literature, or any such emotions which could be imparted through literature can be taken over now. I request the members over here who have joined to kindly speak.
Thank you, Imani. At the time the resource person joins, can I say a few lines? My view have courage imparted through literature.
I request the others kindly mute your mics so that the speaker will not be disturbed. Yes, ma'am.
Has the speaker joined?
Ma'am, not yet, ma'am. Ma'am is trying.
So can I speak for 2 to 3 minutes from my own personal perspective?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
When we talk about courage and courage which is imparted through literature, the first thing which comes to our mind is what actually is courage. Courage is something telling the truth about our own life, standing up to what it is right, facing the fears, the threats, the dangers, and not going back, but facing them boldly, courageously. And if you ask me, from where do we get this courage? It is not inherent in us. We acquire it. When we read, when we listen to the stories of bravery, and those really leave an impression on our minds, and they provoke us at times, well, to resist, to retaliate. Let's go back to our youth days when we were in the college and when we were in the university. A few books I'll refer to. One is Pride and Prejudice. by Jane Austen. Another is Jane Eyre, and another is The Diary of a Young Girl. These three books, I think all of us have read, even if we have read because we are the students of literature, but others have also read it. And these three books, I think they leave an impression on the minds of all. The issues which are taken up are poverty, being orphaned, death, right decision making, etc. And if you ask me, what are the lessons which we have learned from these books? And at times, these lessons have really made us come out of the tight corners in our life. Whenever we are in very critical situation, something of the experience which we gained after reading these works, they really rescue us. And another book which I would like to refer to, which really makes you courageous, is The Color Purple. I hope all will agree with me on this issue. See, not only the heroine, Sally, but even the writer who had the problem, she was blinded in one eye as a child, and how she overcame all the difficulties, got a scholarship, went to college, and became a famous writer. If you go back, let's look at Milton also. He also became blind at a young age, in his middle age, but then he didn't leave writing. So all these things, they inspire us. The story of Mukhtar and Mai, it's also an inspiration. Well, sometimes untoward incidents do happen, but how we have to face them. And one thing, let me share with you all here is that rape, which was considered to be a taboo, and which she herself has written in her book, Mukhtar and Mai, that, well, everyone was expecting that she would commit suicide, but she did rise and come out of her room after 4 days. And these narratives, even if it's not fiction, what we read on the blogs and what we read in the newspapers, when people unite, when they resist, it gives moral encouragement to all. And a change has come after Nirbhaya's incident also. People may say, well, the rape cases have increased, but no, the rape cases have not increased, but people have started speaking. Parents have started siding by their daughters, taking the court of law for justice. This is the change. I think this is the real courage which comes with the reading of literature, with the reading of popular culture. And another, because it's not a prepared talk, so whatever ideas are coming to my mind, I'm just floating them. Another book which really encourages us, impresses us to be courageous is Malala's I'm Malala. That how she overcame the difficulty, she survived the assassination, she got the best education, she became the ambassador of peace. Now she's married, well settled in her life. And another very courageous lesson which we get from this work is, this non-fictional work is, the statement of her father that, well, I have given her the freedom. I have not clipped her wings. That is, we need to encourage our daughters to live, to bloom, to grow. That's something really impressive, which in fact encourages us. Well, this is what I had to say. I would like to hear the others' views on this.
Ma'am, thank you so much. You really spoke apt to the topic which was given. So 3 to 4 books which was covered. Thank you so much, ma'am. May I request other professors and the literary lovers over here to speak on a particular topic if you all are wishing to.
Can I?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I totally agree with Anupma ma'am that courage is something which allows us to find moral and mental strength to face our fears and make sometimes unthinkable choices also. Right. And here whenever I see topics like this, when Madam Indrani contacted me and told the topic, I was so fascinated because I have personal experience of how literature imparts courage to life. We all have studied Webster's Duchess of Malfi, and I have been teaching this play. And we know in Duchess of Malfi that the courage which Duchess shows right from the beginning. Hello? Yes? Okay. So we know that she is a young widow and her brothers don't want her to marry for their own interest. And but she knows that marriage is nothing against the divine law. And that is acting according to moral laws is righteous action. So as soon as they go, she is bold enough. She has the courage because her courage is born out of this awareness of moral law. She says, shall this move me? If all my royal kindred lay in my way unto this marriage, I would make them my low footsteps. And then she gives the example, just as soldiers in great battles, when they see dangers, they have shown great courage all of a sudden, almost impossible action. So she says, so I through frights and threatenings will essay this dangerous venture. And she does marry Antonio. And this intellectual and moral courage, later on we see how she bears all the hardships throughout the various tortures, so much so that that play is often regarded as melodrama also. But she faces all the hardships and she never loses her dignity. And she has great faith in God. And it is her spiritual courage that makes her tell her executioners who come to kill her, pull and pull strongly, for your able strength must pull down heaven upon me. So only a person having spiritual courage can welcome death like that. And to tell you the fact, I had to face a very dreadful disease 3 years back. It was cancer, and when it was declared, it was like a bolt from the blue. And then I was, for a few hours, I was nonplussed what to do. Then slowly I collected myself. And then of all the works which I have taught, Shakespeare and so many others, which are my favorite, I remember Duchess of Malfi. Because in spite of all the hardship, she says to Basola, I am Duchess of Malfi still. So I had to undergo a very long treatment and face so many hardships every week and very troublesome treatment. But then I always told myself, no, I have to bear because I am Kirti Tiwari still. So that line, I am Duchess of Malfi still, kept nagging in my mind and gave me courage enough. And then, of course, I remember so many other literary pieces from Sanskrit, from Hindi and all. Even when I was going for my treatment, I was told to chant a literary piece, and that gave me immense courage. So I'm really of the opinion that courage is something, courage can be of many types: physical, intellectual, emotional, psychological, moral, but it is the spiritual courage, which gives us the ability for righteous act. That's my opinion. Hello.
Thank you so much, Kirti ma'am. Yes, it was well said actually. We all find such things, and it is, as I told you, we as teachers, when we impart these things to students, we have to bring it to their notice that it is not that the characters we are like we are just introducing them. It is we are reflecting life through literature. So in this way, thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful words.
Yes,
May I
madam.
ask any other professors who are here in this virtual platform to share their thoughts on this topic, courage imparted through literature as an ability for Red Cheers Act. Puvama ma'am, would you like to speak few things on it, ma'am? I request Dr. Ashok Sajjeva sir to speak it, please. Few words on this topic, sir. Or even Murli Krishnan sir is here, a person who actually speaks apt with this topic. And Dr. Sajjev sir is here. I request you to kindly take over this particular session with your views on the topic, courage imparted through literature and ability for Red Cheers Act.
Actually, the very interesting discussion was going on. I agree with what Dr. Anupama Vora has expressed and Dr. Kirti Tiwari madam, and they have come up with a very good perspective on the courage. So courage and boldness, they differ. Courage has positive connotations, and we have several examples of courage in literature also. I think good publication, research publication can be made possible when we begin to write on courage, both the negative side. For example, I would like to mention here that we have Oliver Goldsmith, The Lord of the Flies. So we have the examples of both boldness and courage in terms of Ralph and Jake. Ralph, who is a protagonist, who is courageous enough, and we can see that how the in the utopian and dystopian connotations, and the word, the fire that has, and the indefatigable will, and the hope. So the fire that is also symbolical of hope, that is right from beginning till the end. It shows marks of elements of courage in Lord of the Flies. Now there are different perspectives: post-colonial, post-modern, utopian, dystopian, various concepts, but it is the element of the courage. But even the element of cruelty has also been uh, displayed, which characterizes the uh, boldness, or the uh, which in the disguise or hidden aspects can be what you call the cowardice in the sense. So the element of, so another example of Old Man in the Sea, Heming, another example, which, and Milton, of course, the Saturn. Uh, to be weak is miserable, and there are speeches, Saturn's speeches, which inspire us to have courage in our life. So courage is all. To be weak is to be miserable, and mind is its own place. Means our strength, our courage, it all emanates from our mind, thinking. So it can make a heaven of hell or hell of heaven. It is all the thinking that matters. And courage, there are many instances where many people who are not physically very powerful, are very muscular body, or they are not like oxes, but they have immense willpower. Let us see the example of Gandhiji. Gandhiji's example marks of this courage, that he alone could fight with the British government for the sake of independence. And so, in literature also, we can find out number of such examples, right from Milton's protagonist Saturn and Old Man in the Sea, and even Oliver Goldsmith, and we can discover many such examples where the literature has had an inspiring courage in the readers. So I thank you because I was not prepared for this topic, but I appreciate the views that are expressed by Dr. Anupama Vohra. She has given very, very practical examples in modern connotations. But I come across certain softwares as well. For example, nowadays there are many, many digital humanities software and AI tools, which when we put the text into the software, then it would analyze the elements. A sentiment analysis can be made possible, and that we can tally with the reader's perspective from the reader response theory and the critical tools that are available with us, as well as the linguistic tools, that what are those factors which can be matched, and the courageous elements that can be highlighted by the linguistic display, as well as from the psychoanalytical point of view. So there are different theories can also be applied. So I think and the topic is very ambitious and the scope is immense. We can discuss a lot from different perspectives, and I appreciate that this topic was selected for this today's lecture. And thanks for giving me an opportunity. Uh, Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you so much, Ashoka sir.
Thank you, Sachdeva sir.
Yes, sir. So may we have like a request the other professors here, Dr. Shalini ma'am, to speak few words on the topic.
Thank you, Indrani ma'am, for giving me this chance.
My pleasure.
And, I don't know what I would like, what I would be speaking today, but still I would try to contribute a little bit. Already, Anupama ma'am, Sachdeva sir, Kirti ma'am have already spoken about the topic a lot. So here today, I would like to speak about this topic in context of Indian women writers, which is I always like to. So if we take courage in context of literature, so many writers like whatever text if we take of any Indian women writer, that that has immense capability of exploring the word courage in itself. So here I would like to take the narrative of courage against violence, that the novel which I had read earlier, and I had worked upon on that also, and I really enjoyed and liked that also a lot. Meena Kandasamy's When I Hit You. So there in that novel, although many women writers like Nentra Sehgal, Kiran Desai, Amrita Pritam, Arundhati Roy, Shashi Deshpande, everybody has written a lot about courage in their writings. But this young lady, Meena Kandasamy, her voice is very audacious and bold, and she talked about all the kind of stratagems which could be applied when you are in a kind of abusive marriage. So how you get courage against a misogynist husband who imposes clampdowns and inhumanness upon a woman of the house, and how a feminist writer, because she portrayed the character also in that way, the protagonist of the story in that way, that she is also a feminist writer, and how she finally backfires with her flaming voice writing the narrative of dictatorship of the patriarch, and the husband, psychic husband whom she had at home, and who even took whatever came in his hands, he took that, and he used to beat her also a lot. So how she got the freedom, how she made her you can say feminine psyche uh, freed from the shackles of those all patriarchal setting of the house. So that is a story of courage, and which can be you can say that a story can be taken as an example, as an illustration here. And even if we go in old age Indian epics, like such as if we take the example of Ramayana and Mahabharata, although they are retold also and reinterpreted also, but if we take the characters from there, Sita and Draupadi, and if we explore them through if we explore them from feminist perspective, so they were also very courageous characters, and they teach us a lot, that how you need to live your life and how you need to carry yourself, even in the period of British, when the country was colonized by Britishers. That time also many writers had written about that how you can be courageous and how you can break the shackles of the society, male dominated society. So this is what I would like to say here, that courage plays a big role in everybody's life, and how you take it and what kind of literature you choose to read, that really is a big thing in your life. Because sometimes some students and even people, they don't know that what kind of literature they need to read. So if you are choosing, so you need to choose some kind of that which you really feel interested. So in specific, I have already told that I like feminist writings a lot. So I chose this example to take here, that this is completely a story which talks about courage, which is a kind of eye-opening and heartbreaking writing. And I feel that everybody should read it. It will tell you that how to become courageous and how to you can say have resistance and resilience. And there are many writers and many poets also, like Maya Angelou and Rupi Kaur, and you can go through the writings of Toni Morrison. You will find lots of courageous things over there to give you courage. So this is all what I would like to say here, and pass on the podium to other intellectuals. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Shalini, ma'am. Ma'am, it was a wonderful experience listening to you. As say, courage is the mental muscle that conquers fear. And like all muscles, the more you use them, the stronger they become. And it is something you are born with. But it should be developed through experience we go through. And here I would say that literature can provide such experiences. You don't have to go through the real life experiences. Literature prepares you for a whole lot of situations. This is my view. And literature not only gives courage, but see, it empowers you physically, mentally, and prepares you for all of the things. We have Yogesh Sarode sir also. I request other participants also to please express their views. Sarode sir, on this said topic.
There is Madam Asina who wishes to speak few things.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
request.
everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, since we are all talking about courage and connected with the literature today, so I would like to add a few insightful points to the ongoing topic. The ability to mirror reality is one of the gifts of great literature. That's what I understand. And we feel empathy when we read about characters that face great challenges and difficulties and relevant to any fiction or novels or dramas. So because this human life, it involves most of the time sufferings, though that is the reason why these same characters find the courage to rise above what, just like Shakespeare refers to in Hamlet as the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, a very famous quote, and we are inspired. So considering the same following example of literary characters that embody the virtue of courage, And even in perspective to poetry as well, although fairy tales may be the first thing that springs to mind when we think of literary heroism, but poetry again can be the ideal vehicle for capturing the strength of everything that is living. And even in one of this Elizabeth Bishop's poem, One Art, which repeats a sentence that seems to be a rather melancholy refrain, where the art of losing isn't hard to master, but Bishop knows that loss is an unavoidable fact of life. So, as fellow poet Jen Hadsfield also says that no matter what your circumstances, you will end up losing everything you love. This is a very common fact, and you will end up aging. You will end up ill. So this is the harsh reality of life. And the problem is what we need to figure out a way how to make that all be all right on time. So when the speaker of 1 hour tells us to lose something every day or to accept the fluster of the, lost door keys, the hour badly spent, we see that somewhere the poet has mustered the courage to accept such losses and move forward towards the enlightenment part. And talking about certain non-fiction spot, also true stories of brave firefighters and police officers give us faith in humanity when they splash around our TV screens and movies. But even in the same consideration with the written books of non-fiction, it can have a substantial influence on our culture. So this is what I would like to quote on the same thing. Then talking about fiction also, authors sometimes find it helpful to invent characters who exhibit the courage they aspire to possess. So the horrors of war are the subject to Stephen, Craven's novel, The Red Badge of Courage, where the story centers on a young soldier named Henry Fleming, who is initially terrified of fighting, but is also ashamed of his cowardice. So both the things are there. And as the character of this Henry grows in experience and maturity on the battlefield, he somewhere observes and sees that it was an aspect of better courage. So that is what on I would like to add on. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Hasina ma'am. Well said. And literary figures of Indians writing in English. See, we can have the example of Rabindranath Tagore, the famous writer in English, Indian writer in English, and just go through his writings, and he is providing, giving courage, spreading courage to all the strata, not only men but women also. And he has also written wonderful writings. And here I would invite other members also to please share your views. Anyone else? Please unmute yourself and you can speak.
Today you are talking about a very pertinent and prominent topic. That's what we call courage. And that too on the day of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Jayanti.
Yes.
Can you talk of courage without Subhash Chandra Bose? The person who has hailed, the person who has given freedom, the person who has made wonders in the world, the person who has traveled at length throughout the globe, and the person who has gathered all the courage from outside of the country and helped India to attain freedom. That's the courage. All literature will go in vain if the country hasn't attained independence. So the first grand salute should be given to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose on this particular day when we are talking about courage. Forget about literature. Courage is the very first step to start with. Courage is the very first step that you put. A child, when it keeps the first step, that's the courage. When a person writes, when he pens down, that's the courage. When the person opens the eyes, that's the courage. When the person would like to listen to someone, that's the courage. When the person would like to help someone, that's the courage. So courage is everywhere. Courage is not outside. Courage is inside. And the courageous people are always those who always see that, yes, they can do something. They can do wonders. And as far as talking about courage is concerned, not about all the global literature I am talking about, let us talk about the Bharata. What about Maitreyi, Gargeyi? They were the two ladies, those who had immense courage in the male dominated society to go out and read out the Vedas. What about Gargeyi and Maitreyi? What about then Kamala Das coming up in Indian writings in English? Then she started writing in the male dominated society about various other things that too required a great deal of courage. What about Shakuntala when she brought up Bharata without Dushyanta? The immense courage because of whom we have the name Bharat. So all these courage, I think the courage comes from within. Every individual who feels himself or herself as the dominant and the pertinent element uh, or to show the inner strength. So the inner strength is courage, and it is being metered and it is being measured, rather, it is being measured by various other parameters. So for people, crossing the bridge may be a courage. For people, crossing the ocean may be a courage. But for me, when a child utters a single word, ma, that too takes a lot of courage. 9 to 10 months, the child is listening everything, and then it makes the very first attempt to say ma. So courage, as far as literature is concerned, literature is what? Literature is around us. Literature is not produced by something which is beyond our reach, but literature is always within our reach. So we must impart all these things to the students, those who are studying literature or those who are there with us, because until and unless courage and until and unless bringing them on the righteous track, which is the most needed thing in the present scenario, we need to make them understand one particular thing. As in Hindi, it is always said, हिम्मत करे इंसान तो क्या नहीं हो सकता, ऐसा कोई मसला नहीं जो हल नहीं हो सकता. So that himmat has to be there. And during all this pandemic period, people have lost one thing that's known as himmat. So courage for me is kar age, means you keep on doing the things, whatever may be the age. That's what is courage. So if you go on doing the things, if you go on just dreaming something and then instigating those dreams to come into action, just dream something and execute the dream. Dream something and just discuss it with the people. If the people are not with you, that doesn't matter. You are alone and you can do everything. That's what Subhash Chandra Bose has said. Give me blood, I'll give you freedom. Blood was not the blood. Blood was basically, you need to come out of your shell for the motherland. And if you can come out of your shell for the help of the motherland, even today also, we need people to come out of their shells. And the same thing was happened with Kalidas also when he wrote Abhigyan, Shakuntalam, and even Meghdut. So he took a lot of courage to come down from Ujjain to a place in Sarguja known as Ramgarh, and there he sat and he wrote Meghdut. So even writing Meghdut took a lot of courage. So every author, every individual, those who are excelling in their field, those who want to do something, they are the courageous people. And literature is full of those literary heroes. But at the same time, in our life also, around us also, there are n number of people, those who are courageous. It takes a lot of courage to face the audience when you are failed. But it will not take that much of courage to face the audience when you are successful. The same thing happened when Satish Dhawan and APJ Abdul Kalam both were sitting together and the mission was failed. And then Abdul Kalam was the in charge of that. Then the press conference was held. Satish Dhawan said to Abdul Kalam, I'll go there and you sit back. He said, sir, it was my job and I must go there. No. I'll go there. And he faced all the people. And then after some years, when the mission was successful, then Dr. Dhawan said to Dr. Kalam, now you go there because it's your success. So that's the leadership. Whenever you fail, then the leader has to take the charge and he should save the people around. And that courage is very important. Nowadays, we need to make the students and the children understand one thing. Failure is also the very first step towards success. And one has to accept failure as a courage. So that courage needs to be developed. Every parent, every individual must teach their students and the children that courage is facing the failure. Courage is not winning the things, but courage is facing the failure and then forgetting everything and starting a new thing. This corona has given us a lot of bad things, but at the same time, it has given good things also to the people, those who have stepped out, those who had courage in them, those who have proved themselves, those who have seen out of the horizon, those who have seen out of the gloomy atmosphere, those who have seen, in Hindi, I must say, Timtimata Deepak Snehaka. So when that Timtimata Deepak Snehaka you can see, that's what the courage is. And nowadays, our youngsters, they are losing these courage. And it's the duty of all the educators, being the teachers, that we should instill courage in the students to face the challenges of this 21st century. Our students are losing their life. Even after results, many of them, they get disappointed. So when they get disappointed, then it becomes the major responsibility of all of us to instill in them the very much needed courage. And the courage is to be instilled in many ways. It could be psychological, it could be emotional, it could be whatever, what Dr. Kirti Tiwari ma'am has said. But at the same time, what I feel is we need to make this children and the students understand one thing, that there is nothing much better than the human relationships what we have. Even this WhatsApp, this Facebooks, this Twitter, this multimedias and this social medias, wherein you are having on Facebook thousands of friends together, 5,000, 10,000 friends together. But what's the role of your neighbor? So there you need to understand the courage. If your relationship with your neighbor is very good, then that too takes a lot of courage to build healthy relationship within the society. Then only the society will prevail, then only the literature will come into existence. If you talk of Mulkraj Anand, if you talk of Raja Rao, if you talk of R.K. Narayan during the time of British regime, these people have taken a lot of courage to write in English, which was not our language, but they marshaled English language in such a great way that these people have become the masters, the big three of Indian English writings. So that too has given immense courage to these people. And that's why today in the world literature, we are saying Indian writings in English is one of the biggest feather in the arena of world literature. When we talk of world literature, you cannot underestimate the essence and the support of Indian writings in English. But at the same time, all the literature, may it be Kannada literature, may it be Tamil, Telugu, Kashmiri, Punjabi, Rajasthani, whatever it is, all of them, they have immense treasure in it. And if you read all those, you will find courage is there. Here Ranjha, courage is there. So every literature, every piece of literature, it starts with courage. So that's why when courage is there, then definitely righteous action is bound to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Nice to hear from you. Mrs. Kamaljeet Yadav, ma'am, the keynote speaker of today's program, has joined us. I extend a hearty welcome to Mrs. Kamaljeet Yadav, ma'am, and I request her to speak a few words and share her views.
Thank you, everyone, and excuse me first of all for my absence. I hope you can make out by my voice, I was not at all fit for that. Today it is, I don't know how did it happen, and I'm finding it so difficult. But at the same time, when Dr. Ghanshyam was talking, I was again filled with lots of what you say, courage. Yes, sir, certainly without talking of the hero of the country or of the world, Dr. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, we cannot talk about courage. It will remain incomplete. The talk would be incomplete without talking, referring Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. At the same time, I'm sure at length, the things or the meaning of courage must have been discussed, as well as we all understand that the synonyms of courage are audacity, bravery, daring, determination, endurance, fearlessness, firmness, and of course, fortitude. So in fact, courage is taking action in spite of the fear one feels, because courage is the willingness to respond fearlessly despite the anxiety and worry that might be tugging at one. So in fact, one of the best ways to be courageous is to understand what we are afraid of and then refuse to allow that fear to paralyze us. Hence, the point is that not only we have to elaborate about the definitions and have discussion, but I think the young generation must be encouraged to be a little more courageous to read literature as well. Let me give a reference. Day for yesterday only, we had an orientation session by one of the professors of Central University for students of class 9 and 12, all students, around 1,000 students. We had this session by the English faculty of Central University, Dr. Sanjay Arora. And in that, I wanted that he should discuss, of course, the finer characters are there to discuss about. But at the same time, as a language teacher, it is my prime duty to introduce to my students what kind of professions are available when I study literature or when I study language. It can be English, it can be any other language. So, what are the avenues which open up for me when I study a language? So, during the discussion, during his presentation, he was very clear about the concept, and it was a kind of eye opener, not only for the students, for the staff, but for me also. Because as a teacher, as a principal, I'm also lost up in my regular routine kind of work, hence, not even informing my students. Again, the point courage, what my subject is, and how I can guide my students about the subject that I'm teaching. Of course, the literature is the one which in Hindi, as I hope Dr. Ghanshyam and Madam Indrani and rest of the honorable members would allow me, it is stated, Jahan na pahunche Ravi, wahan pahunche Kavi. So this adage is very clear that it's the poet who has guts to see, who has courage to see beyond the sunlight as well. Now, this is what is something that really encourages a person to look beyond. Of course, there are lots of examples in our Ramayana and Mahabharata also, because when we read our scriptures, we find that it's all full of, sir has already given lots of examples from Mahabharata about Ganga and how she brought her child all alone. So not only one example is there, it was Draupadi who was full of so much of courage that she had created a spell over the people or over the Kauravas when she was. That is what? A sheer example of courage, that you are good at your language, and by your language, you are getting courage to speak and present that it's nobody can be taken easily. If it is never ever consider that a female is a weak one. So again, a beautiful example of courage. At the same time, Abhimanyu is another example of courage, and many more examples are there from Mahabharata. Similarly, from Ramayana also, when Lord Hanuman, of course, it required courage to fly all the way from South India to the Himalayas to get something. So, how do we interpret courage? What is courage for us? How we encourage our students? What kind of examples do we give to our students? Here, there is one more example where in the Julius Caesar, when the cobbler is saying, making a statement, when he's asked what is his profession, he says, I mend bad souls. I can mend your too. So naturally, the soldier was taken aback And this is an example of grit. This is an example because he, very next moment, he, of course, with his sheer audacity, he has tried to tell the person that I can mend your bad soul as well. And of course, we know that what it was. So pun is there at the same time. Through pun also we can impart courage. Then there are many examples, not only in the Shakespearean literature, but otherwise also. I don't think I have so much of time, and otherwise also my throat may not allow me. So for that, I must be excused, at least for today. I know I have lost a chance to speak before what I have prepared, the August Assembly. But again, the example of courage in the theme of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Again, what is that? Of the four houses, Harry is sorted into Greyfonder, where dwell the brave at heart, the daring, nerve, and chivalry set Gryffindors apart. Since the first book, it is said that Harry will develop into a symbol of courage and righteousness. So J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone follows the first year of the beloved boy wizard's education. And of course, this Harry Potter is ready to fight for his friends, knowing it well that he is a lean and thin boy, yet he finds that he doesn't have much to lose. So he exhibits a wonderful example of courage. And there can be many more. So I think time is already has exceeded. So I would not take much time, but certainly it is courage that is imparted through literature and ability for righteous act. Of course, the theme is arguably one of the top 5 most prevalent themes in literature, because courage is crucial to storytelling as well, and much more than that, because the protagonists frequently find themselves in the dire predicaments whilst stubbornly pursuing their ambitions. They are forced to choose between confronting their fears or falling victim to apprehension. Thus, the magnitude of these decisions has colossal repercussions on the overall direction the story will take. The choice the protagonist makes not only affects their life, but of course, the lives of loved ones and even society at large. A character like Simba is also courageous. A character like Tom and Jerry have, of course, Jerry is another example of courage. So these kind of things we can discuss in our classes as well. And of course, what serious characters we want to impart, or what serious kind of literature we want to introduce. What is that our students must be enjoying? It's up to us only. And how we impart it again gives a bigger meaning that what I have studied is a wonderful subject that has given me an opportunity to express myself beyond, like Jahana Pahunche Ravi, Waha Pahunche Kavi. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful experience to hear your scholarly views, though it was a limited time, and you were also, we really regret to not hearing you for the whole 50-minute session. But still, I would like to express my regards, and thank you so much for being there with us, though you are not feeling well. I would, we had 2 raised hands. Dr. Rakesh, sir. Sir, you can speak if you wish. And see, we'll include, I think so, ma'am, if Dr. Indrani ma'am permits, we can have this in question answer session, discussion session. Dr. Rakesh, sir. And Sharmishta Basu ma'am was also willing. Ma'am, I think.
Can I speak for a minute?
Ma'am, I think you can just. We can just go ahead with it.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. We'll continue.
Can I speak?
Moving forward,
Can I speak for a minute?
I would now like to invite the chairperson of this session, Dr. Mrs. Kirti Tiwari, ma'am, to share her views. But let me introduce Dr. Mrs. Kirti Tiwari, ma'am. She
Dr.
is
Pragyata,
professor.
ma'am.
Yes,
Dr.
yes,
Pragyata,
sir.
ma'am.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Ashok Sachdeva would like to speak something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, please, Dr. Ashok Sachdeva, sir, you're most welcome.
Just for a minute.
Yes, sir.
Listening to Ghanshyam sir, and just for a minute, I would like to say that joining of Kamaljeet Yadav madam, Dr. Kamal, is also a courage under such circumstances that she could spare time and join us despite her illness and not feeling so well. And it's also of Dr. Kirti Tiwari that she has not been well but has joined as a chairperson today. And whatever Kamaljeet Yadav has spoken, he has compensated uh, what she would have spoken. I think it was very insightful lecture. I was speaking here in iSPELL when I was listening to Ghanshyam, it occurred to my mind that speaking here in iSPELL is also a courage. So I wanted to reflect on that. I wanted to mention the name of Subhash Chandra Bose also, which I rightly agree with him. And what Dr. Ghanshyam has pointed out about the various manifestations of courage are worth appreciating. And so I congratulate all the speakers and those who have taken part in the discussion and in this forum have spoken brilliantly, especially particularly in this literary satsang, which was more of a spontaneous nature or extempore in the sense. So it is another kind of courage that iSPELL has established. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on, I would like to introduce Dr. Mrs. Kirti Tiwari, ma'am. She is Professor and Head Department of Postgraduate and Research Studies at Government JY Chhattisgarh College, Raipur. She is a recipient of gold medals for topping the merit list in college and university. I'm not noting down each and every one, but I have a long list of it. Awarded 2 years Teachers Fellowship by UGC for doctoral research. She has been awarded PhD on Confluence of Dvaita and Advaita, the novels of Rajarao. She has presented a number of research papers in national and international seminars, 11 research papers published in national and international research journals. She has founded Research Center and postgraduate library in the English department in Chhattisgarh College. She is recognized research supervisor of Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla and MATS universities, and she has produced 7 PhDs and others in line. Former chairperson of UG Board of Studies of English Language and English Literature of Chhattisgarh State and PG Board of Studies of Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University. Former member of the Result Committee, Academic Council and Examination Committee members of the Library Committee of PRSU. She is the chairperson of UG and PG Board of Studies in Government Chhattisgarh in College and a member of DRC of Government Chhattisgarh College, Raipur. She is former member of Planning and Valuation Board of Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, and she has chaired plenary and technical sessions in UGC-sponsored national seminars in different states. And she has also organized several national seminars also. Academic Counselor, PG Counselor of IGNOU for MAG 02 and MAG 04 of MA English program at Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU. She has rendered professional services to PSC, VAPM, SSC, Central Jail and other organizations. and her specialization in British grammar, Indian writing in English and English language and phonetics are remarkable. And she has delivered lectures in Police Academy Raipur, Central Jail Raipur, and also talks on different topics in workshops, seminars, and refresher course. She was appointed convener of a committee on new education policy, the state of Chhattisgarh. She is a state nodal officer, university nodal officer, and district nodal officer of English for developing e-content for UG and PG courses of Chhattisgarh and RSU during Corona lockdown in April and May 2020. State Nodal Officer for e-library project of the Department of Higher Education in Chhattisgarh, and convener of national seminars and workshops on Gandhian thought and culture and research methodology. So such a prestigious person has joined us as chairperson. I thank you, ma'am, for being here with us and request you to take over the session. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Pragyasa. Very good evening to one and all. Respected Madam Kamaljeet Yadav, who ultimately joined in spite of her bad health and has spoken so well. Founder and General Secretary, Dr. Ghanshyam, President of iSPELL India, Dr. Anupma Vora, and Dr. Indrani, the event coordinator and the convener of Karnataka Forum, and all the other office bearers of iSPELL India, professors, teachers, and research scholars who have joined this program. It's a matter of immense pleasure for me to be a part of 71st Sunday Sahitya Satsang on a very worthwhile topic, courage imparted through literature, ability for righteous act. And it's really gratifying to note that iSPELL is marching on the path of progress and is ready to overcome all hurdles. Sincerely, regularly, punctually, we are moving ahead. And the credit goes to the capable team of iSPELL India, who are very dedicated and committed. And today's, as far as today's topic is concerned, we have already discussed a lot, and this turned out to be a unique program in which everyone showed the courage to participate and express his and her views. And that was very wonderful. These members kept the show going, and especially I am thankful and congratulate Dr. Anupama, Dr. G. Ghanshyam, Dr. Ashok Sachdeva sir, Shalini Yadav ma'am, Hasina Kabir ma'am, and others who have spoken on the occasion and have participated extempore. And this is something very commendable. As far as literature is concerned, it is often believed that it is an expression of life, a mirror of life, and its object being to delight and instruct us. But actually it is much more than that. Literary writers, they are the gifted people. They can see things that are beyond the external reality, and they can provide us glimpses of the unknown, and they can take us to the spiritual realm. And as we know, right from the beginning, if we take up Rig Vedas and other literary works of Vedic age, for those early writers, literature was a spiritual discipline, a purging of emotion and a setting aside of all selfish considerations. And it was an experience of the mind. when on fire and spirit in exaltation. And literary artists who are emancipated in their minds and hearts, they became the spokesman of a world unity, which is not based on fear, hate, or greed, but on what is eternal in man. That is the spirit which hungers and thirsts after righteousness. So literature produced by such people ought to impart courage. We have seen how our speakers, they have considered various literary works and have analyzed the literary themes that is present in them. Shalini, Kamaljeet Yadav madam also, who joined later, she gave the meaning of courage and how it is to understand, the need is to understand what we are afraid of, because courage and fear go together. Fear is something, which when we overcome, that gives us courage. And here I remember the words of J. Krishnamurti. He says that fear actually is there as long as we keep it outside. Once we accept it and become a part of it, fear ends. And where fear ends, courage begins. That's my opinion. And Madam has wonderfully given examples from our well-known works, Mahabharata, and various characters of Mahabharata who inspire us, and we can imbibe courage from them. And all this, she has, although she spoke not for 50, but only 10 or 15 minutes, she has tried to bring home the point that courage is an admirable courage is an admirable trait, and it is sometimes reflected at a higher level, and as I earlier said, it can be of many types, and there are so many literary works in which we can find courage as a theme. And I mentioned Duchess of Malfi, then there are so many others, many poems, Death Be Not Proud, or Murder in the Cathedral, or so many examples I can give. But since we have to go by time, I would like to talk about one more courage, which I think we have not talked so far, and that I would like to impart through a story. The story is from Raja Rao's On the Ganga Ghat. It's an experimental work of Raja Rao, in which he has 11 short stories in the shape of a novel. So this is itself quite unique. And there, one of the stories is that of Shivlal. Shivlal is a person whose uncle has betrayed him, in the sense when his grandfather died and father died soon after, his uncle took all his property. And he, along with his mother and other siblings, was thrown out. And at that time, he did not know what to do. And once in a train, he does a simple job, but once he meets a sadhu, and he takes him to Banaras. As the title itself indicates, On the Ganga Ghat are all the stories of Banaras only. So he takes him to Banaras, and there he becomes a pimp. Although he doesn't indulge in anything wrong, but he does that job also very sincerely. And along with the sadhu, he lives, and he asks him to give him some mantra, and he chants that, which was very simple. And always he prayed and prayed to God to keep himself pure. And then, he was making money. And he used to, whatever he used to earn, he used to keep in a trunk. And when someone asked, he said, I'll use this money to buy my uncle's house. So what he had lost, he wanted to get back. But then what happened? he started making money and he made much money. And when the trunk was full, once he went, that was a Diwali time. He went and took the trunk and kept it by the Ganga river. And later on the Diwali night, he went there and kept tearing notes one by one. And then Sadhu also comes and he also starts tearing. And then at night, what they did was they started throwing, they kept a few hundred notes apart and then threw all other notes into the river. Now, this is something amazing. This is because he could have given it to others also. But while doing prayers, he had kept his heart pure. And the sort of a courage to reject what he doesn't need. And he had kept his desires also limited. So he could reject that money. And a question arises that if he didn't use, why didn't he give it to anybody else? And the answer could be that because he thought that what is not meaningless for him, how can it serve any purpose for others? If only we can get this kind of courage to reject what we do not need and to desire only what we need, I think most of the problems of the today's world will be solved. Corruption, malpractices and all that. Because as it is said that nature has much to satisfy everyone's need, but not everyone's greed. So that courage also is needed and can be imbibed through literature. That is why I wanted to, that's what I wanted to tell you. And I thank Indrani Madam for giving me the opportunity to chair the session. And my best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for expressing your erudite opinions, and you have summarized all the discussions in a very few words. Thank you so much. We move on to the certificate distribution session, and I would now like to invite Dr. Ashoka Sachdeva sir to deliver the executive committee remarks and do the honors of certificate distribution. Dr. Sachdeva sir is a Vice President, Academics, iSPELL India, and he is a Professor of English, Mata Jijabai Government Girls PG College, Indore, MP. I extend invitation to sir to do the honors. Please, sir.
For all your kind words and words of appreciation. This program has been a great success, and with the tumultuous presence of all the participants and listeners, and this Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language, actually today's program is just 71th Literary Sunday Satsang, just falling short of 2 or 3 from the 75th. So once the 75th is achieved, and it is a matter of great pride and privilege and pleasure, and is a moment of happiness for all of us that we have reached the threshold of 71, and very soon, in the next 2-3 Sundays, we'll be reaching the threshold of 75th and 100 also very soon, uninterrupted and unhampered and quite successfully. And the credit goes to the iSPELL General Secretary, Founder Member, Kancham Sir, and all the members of EC, worthy members of EC, and the audience and the listeners and the participants who have made it a great success throughout these 2 years tenure, as we can say. So thanks for giving this wonderful opportunity to me for distribution of the certificates. Uh, the certificate of appreciation, this certificate is proudly presented to Kamaljit Yadav. And the topic is Courage Imparted Through Literature, an Ability for Righteous Act. And I do appreciate Kamaljit Yadav for her courageous act today to fulfill her commitment and for her righteous act today, being with us and also blessing her with blessing us with her sage confidence. So we are thankful to you, madam. We are beholden, and we express a profound sense of gratefulness and thankfulness to you for just being with us under such circumstances. Uh, Thank you so much. So this certificate is being offered to Dr. Kamaljit Yadav.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for being so kind and gracious. Thank you.
Now the next certificate is for a certificate of appreciation is for the chairperson of today's session, Dr. Kirti Tiwari, who kept the session going on with her magical words, with her insightful and her academic words. I consider Dr. Tiwari as a great stalwart, academic stalwart, and a very great academic scholar because whenever I have talked with her, interacted with her, I have benefited with her academic insight and her brainstorming ideas and the depth approach that she has always into an insight that she has into many of the critical perspectives of literature. And she always comes up with some original content and idea and she shares with us in this forum always. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
Kirti.
you, sir. Thank you so much.
Words were very benefiting to all of us, and we have gained a lot from your insight. Uh, the next certificate of appreciation goes to Dr. Pragyasa Upadhyay. I liked her comparing very much the way she has coordinated, and she has been a wonderful coordinator today. And with the right choice of the words, with the good phrases, with the good metaphors, and following the sequence and maintaining the time schedule and running the program in such a situation where and turned it magical in the sense that she made all others participate. Uh, the equal thanks go to Dr. Captain MI Indrani for all this successful conduction of this program. Dr. Pragyasa Upadhyay, this certificate is for you. And with lot many thanks.
Yeah.
I was audible, I hope so. And
Yes, sir.
credit goes to Dr. Captain Indrani MR for steering this session so well. Thank you so much, madam.
So much, sir. Thank you with all your blessings, sir. Thank you.
Pramod,
Thank you, sir, for
Yes,
your
sir.
blessings and appreciation.
can you show the next event's
Yes.
flyer, please?
Yes, sir.
Last
Yes.
but the least, but our Pramod sir also is with us, Prospero, who runs the magic of this iSPELL, and Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Here that Dr. Ghanshyam sir has also suffered from COVID, and our vice president has also suffered COVID. But, now they are restored their good health. I wish them and pray them speedy recovery and excellent health. And
Thank you, Sachdeva sir. What is more important than suffering is appearing.
you are
Appearing is more important than suffering because it's the only way of leading the best possible life. And I'm always a fighter, and let one fight more may not be the last one because the last one will remain forever. So that's why the fight is always on. And all those who have spoken on this platform of iSPELL on courage, this iSPELL is also a platform which is built out of courage only during the pandemic. So on 5th of September 2020, when it was established, it was the courageous effort of all the people coming together and establishing this forum, which has attained 71st Sunday Sahityak Satsang and which is going to attain the Platinum Jubilee very soon in the month of fabulous February. So it's all courage only, and the courage is leading towards the righteous path, and the righteous path is there, and it's beyond horizon. And for iSPELL, there is no end. It's only the start, and there is no end to it. It will go on and on and on. What we call Charaiveti, Charaiveti, Charaiveti. Thank you.
Long live iSPELL.
Yes, ma'am. Long live iSPELL. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for such wonderful, encouraging words. Yes, ma'am. Just continue with your formal vote of thanks, ma'am.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I thought I have a network issue.
Okay.
We have a wonderful session with all such scholarly people joining us. I would like to propose a vote of thanks here. This is the last part of the session, and it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on the occasion. On behalf of iSPELL Forum India, I extend a hearty thanks to the chairperson of 71st Sunday Sahit Satsang, Dr. Kirti Tiwari ma'am, for the gracious presence. Ma'am has expressed her views in a wonderful.
Yes, I think ma'am lost the connection.
Yes. So let me just continue with her words. Yes, so I extend on behalf of iSPELL, I extend enough gratitude. Pragyasa ma'am, shall I continue?
No, ma'am. Sorry for the interruptions caused. I thank the keynote speaker, Kamaljeet Yadav ma'am, for being with us and guiding us and sharing her scholarly views on and ideas on the topic, courage imparted through literature and ability for righteous act. I would like to thank also
okay. Let me just continue her proposing vote of thanks, which is I deem it to be a great privilege. Pragyasa ma'am, just let me continue. Shall I continue, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, please, ma'am, please.
So here I take this immense opportunity to thank on this particular occasion. Today's 71st Sahitya Satsang was really a great session, a unique one and a special one in the history of iSPELL Sahitya Satsang, because we were able to raise eye to the occasion. And on this, it is the iSPELLians who have stood together, raised together to this occasion. My special thanks to Dr. Gansham sir, the founder secretary, for his wonderful noble thoughts, along with my immense gratitude to Anupama Ora ma'am, the president of iSPELL Forum, for her insightful and thoughtful words. And with that, even Shalini ma'am, then Pramod Dengle sir for his support, and Ashok Sachdeva sir. It was all wonderful words we were able to hear today. It was a real treat, a festive treat, a literary treat to us, to all of us on this particular occasion. So I take immense pleasure. The next week's topic is also very, very interesting one, where it speaks about the symbols as protext, paratext, and antitext. The keynote speaker is Dr. Balasubramaniam, and the session will be chaired by Dr. Arpit Kaur Gacha ma'am. And on this day, where Subhash Chandra Bose sir has said that it is freedom is not given, but it is taken. Today, all the iSPELLians have taken the freedom to speak and to be along with us on this wonderful session. So with these words, I express my gratitude to the chairperson, to the keynote speaker, and to a special thanks to Dr. Pragyasa ma'am for taking up this show in a wonderful way and managing each and every protocol which was actually needed, which iSPELL demands. Thank you so much, and stay safe and take care, all of you all, and best wishes for all. And Kamaljeet ma'am, get well soon. speedy recovery, and let us have a great evening. And thank you all so much for having been along with this particular meet. Thank you all, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.